welcome to FinTech Diary. The world of FinTech is evolving constantly, and we at FinTech Diary try to map these trends for you. My name is Amol Deche, and my guest for this chapter is Reeju Datta, co-founder of Cashfree Payments. Reeju, glad to have you.
Thanks, Amol, for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Pleasure to have you as well, Reeju. And let me begin by asking you a very simple question. What made you came with this name called Cash Free? India में जब cash free बोलेंगे, people come to you and start looking for a cash. Did that happen to you by any chance? People came to you and says, "Reeju, give us free cash." Did that happen to you and Akash by any chance when you started the company?
Yeah, I mean, it happens more than I would like to admit, right? It's happened many times, and I think it's pretty frequent. Yeah, and I think how we came up with the name was, because how we started off,
Uh-huh.
right? Like the idea was to do cash on delivery payments, like have a digital solution for cash on delivery payments and eliminate cash on delivery. So yeah, back in 2015 is that was the idea on which we started off. We have evolved today. Yeah, that's why we have called cash free payments, because we started to eliminate cash on delivery, which was pretty big back in 2015 when we started, right? But yeah, we get the free cash thing very often, and yeah, we kind of can't change the name now, but yeah, it is what it is.
No, sure. But let me begin from there when you came with this name and you are now a decent name in the industry. Uh, Tell us, how was the market then when you started? What is the major difference that you're seeing now? Because it's a journey of almost 8 years now, Riju, and it's a very experienced journey, I must say, 7 to 8 years for a fintech, right?
Yeah. I think the major difference is the overwhelming change in the adoption of digital payments, right? Like
Mhm.
in 2015, as I said, right, cash on delivery was 70-80%.
Right.
And you had to go and convince a business, why, they should even think of online payments. You have to make arguments like, you can, there is no need to pay cash or change, right? And those kind of things, you can accept higher order values and so on. Like today, you don't need to make those arguments, right? Like it's just a given that, you need to be digital. So just that digital penetration, like, and people going digital first, there are various factors, right? You have the demonetization, you have, the ongoing formal with GST, and then you had the pandemic, right? And of course you have UPI and the digital India stack. So all of that have kind of contributed. So that's the biggest change. I think people are very comfortable, with digital payments. Very digital payments, UPI is very ubiquitous today, and then I think that
Mm.
is, yeah, that's the biggest change, obviously.
Mm. True, but how has it changed for you at a company level? Because what made you make this company then, cash on delivery? Perhaps would not have been a situation today because when we look at UPI $10 billion, 100
Mhm.
billion transactions per month now has been unmatchable task that has happened and the kind of revolution that the UPI has seen. Why I'm telling you this is because simply people are paying 1 rupees and a cents. So are people still focusing on paying cash on delivery or you shifted your model to UPI? How did that happen and how has this change happened?
Yeah. So I think cash on delivery has reduced. It's still not eliminated. Like it's probably there, and I think some part of it is people like to pay after delivery, right? Like that's probably one of the few reasons. But it's definitely come down from the 60-70% earlier. A lot of trust has increased in online payment systems and digital payments.
My point is now since 60 to 70% of your business came from the cash on delivery. Now when it
Mhm.
has reduced to a what you can say a large level maybe, you know,
Mhm.
what are the business things that is making sustainable for you? I mean, you must not have envisaged that the digital will pick up at this level. So how did you change in all these years and
Mhm.
maybe shifted from
Yeah.
cash on delivery to other verticals as well? This is what I'm trying to understand.
Yeah, so I think we tried to solve the problem of cash on delivery. We never accepted cash as such. We accepted a digital payment at the point of sale or the point of contact, right? So our solution was always a digital payment, and we kind of betted on digital payments growing, right? We never saw this coming, but we were quite bullish on digital payments, and we figured gradually, right, what are the payment problems that business would have, right? And that's how our solution evolved. Like we started with cash on delivery for the first 1.5 years. We talked to a lot of restaurants, night delivery restaurants, and we understood that they need payment processing on their website as well, right? They asked us to
Mm.
build. payment processing for their websites, right? And then that's how we graduated, to where we are, where we are a full stack payment processing that helps a business collect payments online, collect payments offline, and as well as make payouts, to their vendors, suppliers, and users if necessary. Right, so that has been a gradual journey, and yeah, I think cash on delivery, we've seen that number go down because
Hmm.
as proliferation of UPI and digital payments has happened, right? That's been a part of the journey as well.
Hmm. Sure. So, where are you today, Riju? I understand that you have recently received the license for payment aggregator as well, and there are many domains where you're solving the problems of the payment. You're also onboarding a lot of merchants. So, give us some, a chart about what is your business today. Where exactly are you making more money? Where are you getting more revenue from? So, just give us some dashboard about your business today.
Right. So yeah, today we kind of have 600,000 business, 6 lakh businesses that have signed up on the platform. I think we process around $45 billion of payment volume annually, right? And yeah, so those are the top numbers, I think, and we help a business, collect payments, right? If you are a business trying to sell online or on the internet, to be 20 channel, you have a website, you want to sell through WhatsApp, you want to sell through Instagram, right? Or you even want to have a QR code, right? So like we would be like the right port of call to help you get set up, and manage, make sure that you offer all the payment methods for your customers, manage the refunds, dispute settlements, customer support, and so on, right? That's what we do as a business, and that's what is called payment aggregation. And RBI recently kind of had introduced a license, and we were one of the first players, to get the full license, right? And yeah, I mean, I think that, and what we plan to do is maybe grow. I think get into a market leadership where we are processing, let's say, 2x of what we do today, so get to $100 billion in the next 12 months or so. Right, that's the plan, I think, going forward. Yeah.
Mhm. Sure. Tell us more about the outlook. Now, what exactly will change? What exactly will you do when you have a payment aggregator business? Then, what kind of strength that you're going to build? Are you going to onboard more merchants? Are you going to build more businesses? What kind of revenue expectations do you have? If you could give us a full outlook strategy, Riju.
Mhm. Got it. Yeah, I think the idea is to definitely onboard more businesses, right? Make sure that, so we work across the range, right? From a freelancer to a small proprietor, to a startup, to public companies, and large internet companies who would be unicorns, right? So we have a wide spread there. The idea is to kind of make sure that we have the right product offering, that helps these businesses grow, and stay ahead of the payments innovation curve, right? Payments change very rapidly in India, and I think they will continue to do so in the next 5 to 7 years. So make sure you have a product that is ahead of the innovation curve, and help these businesses get up, like start very easily, right? I think so. What we want to offer is very ease of integration, right? We want businesses to be able to get started in 30 minutes, right? They should be able to transact or do their first transaction within 30 minutes, and at the same time be compliant with whatever the RBI expects us to do, right? So and they should be able to scale, right? If a business has to process, like let's say even 1,000 transactions per second, right? That's the
Okay.
extreme we go to. Let's say we have a big billion day sale, right? So that's the other extreme of from payment processing. So we should be able to do that. So reliability, scale, ease of onboarding, speed of onboarding, and innovation. So those are the pillars that we would work on. And the idea is to kind of make sure that we onboard businesses. I think in the last month we have onboarded close to 25,000 businesses. A lot of them being small businesses, who have gone live on the platform. We get close to 30,000 new businesses, signing up with us every month. Then that's close to
Okay.
50% of all the new businesses that are looking to accept payments online, and we want to grow this number to 50,000 in the coming 6 to 8 months, right? So as we expand, that is the outlook. I think make sure that we help businesses sell online.
How long does it take for you to onboard a business? What is the average time of onboard customer or a business?
Yeah, so I think 30 minutes, like if all goes well, right? Like it's 30 minutes, like you come, because usually the principle we follow is that the business owner kind of is aware of
Hmm.
that they're getting into a relationship with Cashfree. That's the principle of onboarding without going into the details. But usually 30 minutes is what it takes for a business, and they can process their first transaction, right, in the best case
Yeah.
scenarios.
So what is your strategy to acquire new businesses? You have these new merchants coming up through online completely, or you have your forces which goes to meet this business and onboard them? How does that model work, Riju?
Right. Right. So, yeah, we have both inbound channels wherein where people find us on websites, right, and through partners that we have. And we also have an outbound sales team that actually directly reaches out to, merchants. So typically we reach out to the larger merchants, which is a
Exactly.
targeted outreach.
Hmm.
And the smaller to mid-sized businesses usually, find us online and, they sign up on our website directly. Right?
Hmm.
That's.
Sure. So, Riju, can you please tell us, are you profitable? How does actually this collaboration model works in terms of profitability? Because what I understand from the industry, because I ask them quite often about the profitability, and what I learn is, on their own, it's very difficult for fintechs to become profitable. So when it's a collaboration model, it's quite easy. So partnering with so many businesses, does that make it profitable? Just give us some outlook on the profitability.
Right. Yeah. So I think it's very important to grow sustainably, right? I think we've tried to follow that. I think for the first 7 years of our existence, we have been profitable. Luckily, I think it has been a conscious call to kind of chase growth and sacrifice that profitability for the last 1 or 2 years. But I think we want to be EBITDA positive or back to being EBITDA positive, by let's say the end of this quarter, right? So at least at the monthly level, like not at an annual level. And next year definitely we want to be profitable, at an annual level as well. Right. So yeah, it's definitely advisable to be profitable. It is a profitable business model, right? I think, but it becomes you need to kind of process at high scale, because it's not a very high margin business. So I think profitability comes at a certain scale, right. And we've been lucky enough, I would say, or fortunate enough to have been profitable, for most of our existence, right. And that's the philosophy that we want to follow, right? Like stay lean, stay innovative, and be profitable.
Yeah, sure. So you chose growth or profitability recently. Is that what you're saying, Riju?
Yeah, over the last couple of years, right, like current financial year and the last, I think we managed to grow our revenues by 75%, right. And even though I think some of it was pandemic fueled, but in spite, I think we went through a phase where there was, I think, the market was not growing as well as much, right? So yeah, we managed to grow our revenues by 75%. And yeah, that was a conscious call, right? I think to balance growth and profitability, because in payments you need to have a certain scale, to be relevant and actually have a chance of being a large, sustaining company.
What next now, Riju? Because there are a lot many payment aggregator companies. Even the old
Mhm.
players also are having the payment aggregator, license. The market has become very, very competitive, and for whatever reasons, the money is not there, right? There are certain restrictions on the payments that you charge to the, customers or the merchants as well. There is a zero MDR. So, what is going to be your outlook specifically? Maybe if I ask you the next 2 to 3 years, what are you going to do? Are you still going to continue with the same strategy that you have, growth versus profitability, or you're going to adopt some different strategy? How do you see yourself in next 2 to 3 years?
Right. Yeah, so I think we see a lot of the demand getting concentrated among the top aggregators, right? So as I said, even now we are getting close to 50% of the demand in the market, and we want to maintain that leadership, right? Position ourselves to be the preferred payment aggregator for new businesses looking for a payment gateway, right. In terms of profitability, I think there are always ways to innovate and make money, like because I think at the end of the day we are a technology platform, right, that helps a merchant process payments. So I think once we go into the details of processing, let's say settlements, refunds, managing disputes, the integrations, right, and just the technology aspect of processing a payment, right, I think there is enough innovation that can be done, right, that makes it a sustainable business, albeit not very high margins as of now. Right. In addition to that, I think since payments keep evolving, I think being at the head of that innovation curve will help. So now you have a lot of changes coming up in offline payments, right? You have contactless payments coming up. Recently, I think UPI contactless payments were announced. There are various innovations in UPI, Nick, starting right from a one-time mandate or an auto pay. I mean, you keep hearing about UPI being enabled for IPO payments and so on, right? So I think just being relevant there, I think those are monetization opportunities. Cross-border payments is something that is really big, and I think new guidelines have been announced there. So we'll probably see a lot of activity in cross-border payments, which tends to be a high margin, a revenue-making area of the payments, albeit very tightly regulated, right? But we have seen that opening up a bit with the recent guidelines that RBI has brought in. So a lot of things are happening. So I think there is always an opportunity to set up, like a profitable business in payments, because payments is kind of what keeps the economy going, right? Whether it's domestic or cross border. So it's just an essential component of how things work.
So, are you ready with cross-border payments? How long will it take for, maybe to offer your solutions? And how bullish are you in terms of profitability or revenue generating specifically from cross-border? Because what has happened is there are a couple of payment companies which are going very aggressive in this particular space, and the fintech ecosystem as a whole now believes that the only way to make money into payments is cross-border payments. So just tell us something more about that, Riju.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think we process cross-border payments, both exports, which is money for an Indian exporter, helping an Indian exporter coming, selling globally across 90 odd currencies and across geographies. That is something that we do. We also help foreign businesses, collect local payment modes such as UPI from India. And I think in both of these use cases, the regulations have really been, kind of been helpful to even create this market. I think what we had earlier and what we have now coming up in the next 12 months, I think this market is just going to open up. It's in terms of the kind of businesses that you can work with and the transaction limits. So that's going to really, I would say open up this market and, kind of give a bump up to this business.
Hmm.
Cross-border itself definitely remains an exciting monetization opportunity. But I would say, I think, as I said, right, there are payments as various verticals. You could have like payment infrastructure, you could have merchant acquiring in domestic that we do, you could have offline merchant acquiring, right? And you have examples of companies, that have done well and have created a niche for themselves in any of the space, right? And you would have risk, you would have KYC, right? Those kind of solutions as well that go along well with the payment. And as a payments company, we are also well positioned to offer those kind of solutions, right? Like even today, like 25% of our revenue comes from non-payment processing activities, right? We have like this verification suite offering that helps companies onboard users, do KYC, various stages of their onboarding, right? So that is something that also contributes a significant part of our revenue even today.
Hmm. Absolutely. Let me just quickly shift my focus to the industry now. So Riju, I see major changes specifically in the fintech space.
Mhm.
Once after specifically the funding winter, uh,
Mhm.
investors are still going very slow. Fintechs are exploring new ideas. Profitability and sustainability is the mantra. How do
Mhm.
you see the India's fintech ecosystem now? Because a lot
Mhm.
of payment companies shifted to lending, and now they're exploring new avenues as well, like wealth and even cross-border payment. So, how do you
Yeah.
see whole payment fintech ecosystem in India now?
Yeah. So right now, I think, yeah. So I mean, there is always the flavor of the season, right? I think, and then both from a regulatory point and from what's working. Usually, I think the regulation comes a bit after the flavor has peaked, right? That's how what we've seen. So we had a lot of lending happening, and then the digital lending guidelines came out, right? So right now, I think in payments, one of the flavors of the season is definitely cross-border, as I said, and then the other one is payment orchestration, right? Wherein I think what we are seeing is a lot of businesses, the moment they hit like a 1 crore monthly number, they kind of want to work with one or two payment gateways, right? More than one payment gateways, right? So which is why it is very important to be among the top one or two payment gateways so that you are picked there. But also, I think have payment orchestration, essentially have a product that's able, a payment management system that helps a merchant switch between or use multiple payment providers at once, right? And in this regard, we have launched FlowWise of late, right? So which helps a business, which is a payment management system that helps a business collect with multiple payment gateways, and with a single integration, right? So that is, I think, the flavor of the season right now, I think. And we are seeing very strong traction. I think in the last 4 or 5 months we have kind of scaled from zero to 4,000 crores of monthly processing volumes. I think more than 100 businesses are kind of live on the platform as of today. Right, so that is something that is very exciting. We are also bullish about that, right? That's an additional monetization channel, and we kind of foresee the world of payment aggregators as being a multiple payment aggregator world, right? Any large business would work with more than one, and in that environment, a payment orchestrator becomes very critical,
Hmm.
right? For payment processing the data, gaining insights, and so on.
So, adding to this, lastly, Riju, uh, we have seen a lot of uh, challenges with couple of fintechs raising funds. Investors, because it went very slow in pumping up the capital. Obviously, the situation is improving now, but they have a different benchmarks and metrics now to evaluate the fintechs. But we have a large number of fintechs operating in the country now. With this background, Riju, do you think that, or do you sense the consolidation on the way? Do you see that maybe big fintechs will acquire the smaller fintechs, and the kind of M&As will happen coming this year? How do you see that particular part?
Yeah, I think capital would be available for strong business models. I think that can demonstrate that they can generate cash flow, right? I think that is still there. So I think the problem to solve is how do you make money, right? And and while staying regulatory compliant from a regulatory point of view. I think that is I think the challenge, right? Yeah, and I think I see a lot of fintechs being able to make money, right? I mean, while it's not as easy maybe, but I think there are a sufficient number of fintechs in various segments, that are generating healthy revenues and are profitable in many cases. Consolidation, again, I think various factors. I think right, but as long as I think you have a strong business model that is generating revenue, I think like
Hmm.
maybe we stay. Fintechs can avoid that, right? But yeah, time will tell, I guess.
Sure. So yes, time will tell, and the time is up for us here. I think we have been talking about your company, your business, and whole fintech industry for 35 minutes. So thanks for sharing some meaningful thoughts here, Riju, and wish you the best for your cross-border initiatives and the new emerging areas that you're planning. And thank you for being part of FinTech Diary.
Thanks, Amol. Yeah, really great being here. Yeah, thank you.